all right, we're going to try this again. I had some things that I was going to talk about that I probably should have stayed public. Realized that that was going onto my Facebook wall. I'll go back and do that again later because there are some people that popped on that were interested. And yeah, so here I am. I am back into our business group. And the reason why is I probably should have just said this live. I mean, what have I had to lose? I might go back and do that. So those of you that joined me on my Facebook wall, you saw it pop up. Great. Didn't know maybe the difference between Impact Makers and my Facebook wall. But some things I wanted to get into, I didn't necessarily want to share with the whole world, but maybe that's an indication that I should just share some of this stuff. That's a mistake. Again, having issues with Live Producer and the old style, but I'm here. And thank you guys for joining in. Darren and Paulette, welcome back. All right. For those, Andrew was there as well. Welcome back. Darren asked who painted that. A good friend of mine, Jesse Pierpoint. All right, let's get going. Got a lot for you guys today. Let's start with, you're going to hear it here first, Nowhere Else in the World spring catalog. It's coming out April 21st. That is roughly 2 weeks and a day. 15 days from now, spring catalog comes out. Let me go through what is on the spring catalog. We have Amped Nitro in sticks. You know, kind of like we have the Ionic Supreme or the Amped Hydrate. And you know how it's really hard if you want to share something with someone, if you want to have them try, if you want to take a cool picture. Because the canisters, just with the scoop, it's not a cool picture. But we're going to have Amped Nitro in sticks. The ability to share with people if you ever see them again. This morning I was working out in the gym and I took a picture of my power rack. So for those of you who don't know, Kelly and I used to own a gym. And we owned a gym. It was called Training Ground, and it operated for just about 5 years. And when we shut it down, we ended up wholesaling off the equipment, get rid of some of the equipment, and some of that we kept a few racks because it didn't sell. And I figured, I'll throw some up in our garage. And so I took the picture this morning, kind of power rack, barbell, all that stuff. And I sent it to my group of friends and I said, this is great. I don't have to work, close proximity, but it sucks because I miss all the people. And so why that ties into the Amped Nitro is because now, if we ever get back to the gym, the ability to share the sticks with someone, or if people are working out at home, the ability to send them a stick of Nitro, a stick of Amped Hydrate. Here's the great thing about it. Here's what I recognize about people not having, and I am making myself a note, workout sample. Dude, that would be awesome. How great would it be to get a sample of Amped Nitro and Hydrate and maybe, like an Ice Lean Pro or something as kind of a workout. Anyways. Question as you guys are watching it. I got a lot today. This is all over the place. A lot of you joining in. Man, that's awesome. Are you still using sample packs? Are you still using the samples? Are you still necessarily I'm just typing this in so that way people joining in can see it. Are you still using the sample option? And so anyways, just want to know, give me some feedback there. All right, next thing, the Slim Cakes. If you guys like Slim Cakes, one of the things that Slim Cakes has kind of been an old recipe. It's not gluten-free. And I know there's some people that are gluten-free. Laura Stevens, celiac, gluten-free. I know there's a lot more of you, all right? It's just Laura comes top of mind. The Slim Cakes are going to be reformulated, a new recipe, and they're going to be called a Nature Oat Bake. Okay, that is releasing. I'm guessing that's going to be pretty good. All right. Next thing, we have 2 flavors of Bia. We have the Berry Bellini, which came out first. It's pretty good. We have like 12 cases of that. Don't ask me why, but if the apocalypse come and we run out of Bia, we're okay for a little while. Mistake on ordering. Number 2, Citrus Sunrise. We've been out of Citrus Sunrise for several days, and it's almost a revolt. It's kind of funny. Kelly would grab them, hide them. Whenever one of our kids would see her, they'd be like, "Where's the stash? Where are you hiding that?" So anyways, that is, those are 2 flavors. Number 3, we're going to have a mango. Mango, I don't know what the little tagline name on with it is, but mango. So again, mango. Mango is coming out. And lots of people are saying they're using the samples. Awesome. Joanne, I didn't forget about you. I am not sure about Nitro in Canada. I will ask about the Canada timeline on all these to get back to my my wonderful Canadian friends. So that way I can tell you guys. Okay, next thing. So as you know that, hopefully you guys know, if you don't know, well, brand new, welcome to the party, is that Isagenix acquired Zija. They didn't merge with them. They bought them. They went and bought them, took them, say, hey, you're ours. And there's a couple products that are fairly popular, I guess, at Zija. And so those 2 products, Super Mix, which is like a moringa, it's one of the things to be aware is it should not be compared to our greens. It's totally different. I will get that information for you. There's probably information online, what's in it, yada, yada, yada. A lot of vitamins and minerals, helps with the antioxidants, yada, yada, yada. Good for your body. We're going to have that available for us to buy in the Isagenix catalog. The next thing is there is a juice called the Zango juice, which used to be a part of the company Zango, who Zija bought Zango, and now it's part of Isagenix. I don't know the specifics on it. I will get flyers. I will get info sheets. I'm making myself notes on all this stuff that I need to ask. It's great that I talked to you about this. It's great that I talked to you about this because the cool thing is I get to go back and say, hey guys, we need this information so we can really help people. The Nature Oat Bakes, yes, Julie. Julie is another gluten-free. I don't know if you have celiac or just gluten-free. Well, anyways, yes, they will be gluten-free. And is Bia in Canada, is that coming as well? I know that was coming at some point. It's still available, NFR. You can buy it, order it, 90-day supply. But as far as being able for retail sale, I don't know what the timeline. I will ask those questions. Man, you guys are asking all the great questions. I love it. It's helping me. And Zango Juice, Julie, I don't know anything about it, but yes, that, I don't know. I know Travis Ogden loves it. Travis Ogden, interestingly enough, CEO Travis Ogden, he was with Zango at one point before then moving on to Young Living and then before coming to Isagenix. So he has used the Zango juice quite a bit. I remember that stuff. A bar in college, I mixed it with vodka. Now, here's the great thing. Alicia, I'm just going to interject. We don't do so much driving these days. I don't know about you, but I normally would drive about 500 miles a week. Just normal. Kid stuff, whatever stuff, 500 miles a week. I have been home now for just over 3.5 weeks. 3 weeks ago was Kelly's birthday. 3 weeks ago was the last day that any of our kids went to school. Our daughter went to school on yes. Our daughter went to school on March 16th. Our boys didn't. It was after they were canceled. It was so weird. Anyways, that was the last time I filled up with fuel. Now, I've gone to the grocery store, fueled up, all those other things. And I think in that total time, in 3 weeks, I've driven like maybe 150, maybe 200 miles at most. And a lot of that was one afternoon when my daughter and I, we were driving all around town. We were delivering some books to people. And I think that was the majority of what we drove. So anyways, with that, you could try the Zango juice with some vodka as long as you can get that vodka delivered and don't have to worry about driving. Just thought I'd interject that. Anyways, let's see. So we have Nitro coming out in sticks. That to me is exciting. I would love to see Repair come in sticks. How about that? be kind of hard because there's not much volume, but think about those things that you have in sticks, the ability to share, the ability to take with you here and there instead of canister. The Nature Oat Bake is replacing the Slim Cake, and it's going to be a gluten-free formula. Number three, we're going to have Mango Bia. Dude, I'm excited for that stuff. And then 5 and 6 are the Super Mix and Zango coming from Zija product line. I believe, I'm not sure, at some point those will be, and it's pretty close. I think it's going through changing everything else, but I don't know if they'll be branded Isagenix yet or soon, but that will be coming. Okay, April 21st, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Stuff's going to happen fast. My hope is in the next day or two that we start getting some imagery. This is another question, is when are we going to get the imagery? So that way we can start sharing that stuff, build excitement, and say, hey, try new products. Those are coming available spring, fun, try them at home, yada, yada, yada. So that is all the product knowledge. You heard it here first. Now let me get into that was the appetizer. My guess on the Slim Cakes, just to answer these questions real quick, I'm guessing the Nature Oat Bakes taste better. That's just my thought. I love the Slim Cakes, but I'm going to guess they taste better. When will they end? Probably when they're gone. I don't know what the volume of that is, but anyways, that's where it's at, Jamie. All right, let's get into the meat of today. And the meat of today comes from a conversation that Kelly and I had at breakfast when we were at the Sea of Galilee in Israel. And it was our last day there. We were just about to go to the Israeli-Syrian border, and we had a major who was, he's an Israeli-American, so he was American, and then he immigrated to Israel, and he became a part of the Israeli Defense Force back in like the 70s. And he's done a lot of consulting. His name is Elliot Chodorf. And Elliot had breakfast with Kelly and I, and then John and Margaret Maxwell. And, Elliot was discussing just about the military aspect. It was some very, very enlightening stuff. And I can remember sitting there. And I'm just soaking it in. Kelly's sitting with Margaret, chatting with her. I'm sitting with John and Elliot across the table. And all of a sudden, Elliot shares this point. And I bring it up today because John Maxwell shared it today. And this is the quote. If the advance is too easy, or as I put here, if you're advancing without resistance, if the advance is too easy, you're likely walking into a trap. So let me just kind of, why am I bringing this up today? Well, here we are. We're a couple weeks into, this coronavirus shutdown, quarantine, however you want to describe it. And it's important that we kind of put this in context. Is as every day kind of moves along and maybe we get resistance, that should be celebrated. Maybe it's resistance from, someone telling you no. Maybe it's resistance from, a spouse. Maybe it's resistance from your kids. That's a good thing. Because if there's no resistance, you're likely walking into a trap. If it's going too easy, you're likely walking into a trap. Now, does that mean every step needs to be hard? No. But accept resistance. If you're on a elliptical, I don't get on ellipticals much, but I've been on a couple times. And if you're on an elliptical and you're just going easy peasy, are you accomplishing anything? If you're on a cycle, if you're on a bike, if you're on a Peloton, an Echelon, Nordic track, whatever, it doesn't matter. And if you're on that thing, and if you've ever gone to spin class and they'll tell you find a flat road, which there's essentially no resistance, that's easy. Are you getting anywhere? No, you're just spinning your wheels. You're just spinning your wheels. You're not getting anywhere. And so as I listen to kind of my morning routine, two things that are a staple, and I won't lie to you. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know if it was the travel back from Israel, kind of getting our clock set. I don't know if it was that coupled with oh snap, now our kids are home, not going to school, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not my normal routine. It took me a couple weeks to get to my normal routine. It wasn't probably until maybe last week that I got into a normal routine. Now, mind you, I normally would be getting up around 4:15 to 4:20, 4:25. That's my normal. It's been that normal for a couple years. Now my normal is about 5:15. And part of it is I decided it's like, hey, when I was feeling pressure there, it's like, man, I need to rest, because one of the best things that I can do for my health is if I make sure I get enough rest. And so instead of trying to push through, get up, just say, oh, I have to be, I'm going to rest. And then I got to the point where I was just chasing my tail. It's like I couldn't get ahead in the day. And so I started to back off, and I got up earlier, and actually I felt better. I felt clear. I was able to get through my morning. I was able to, really kind of, say, okay, I have a normal routine. So I get up 5:15. I, have a e-shot. I make some collagen bone broth. I go sit down and I read a Maxwell Daily Reader. I dig into my Bible, because that's one of the things that I do. Is just I'm a person of faith, and that is something that I do. If you want to read a book, there's a lot of people say, hey, read 10 pages in a book. Go read, go pour stuff into your mind. One of the things that I just started to do, I've done this in the past. And I'm just, going through this. If you're advancing without resistance, you're likely going into a trap. And maybe the trap that you've gone into is you've cycled down into the TikTok world, where you just sit and watch TikTok. Maybe you've cycled into the world of just watching Netflix and watching Tiger King. I'll admit, about a week and a half ago, maybe last week, I don't remember, I was doing dishes watching Tiger King. And this weekend, when I was cleaning our floors and I was cleaning and I was doing all the cleaning in our house, you know what I was listening to? I was listening to a book. Because you know what? That stuff fills me up better. And I know that took a little resistance, because it was easier to go do the fun stuff where you didn't have to comprehend listening to a book. And so I bring this up because I want to encourage you guys to say, if you're going through some resistance, that's a good thing. That's making you better. That's making you stronger. Number two, as we move along here, I was going to say about my phone, one of the things that you can do on your phone, if you go to settings, if you have an iPhone, and they have this little thing called screen time. And so that was my daily average last week, was down 41%. So, Tyler, what did you do different? Well, I did two things different. Is I put a downtime. So on my phone, I have downtime from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. My phone is locked down. Now, what you can do is you can choose apps that are always allowed. And so here are the apps that are always allowed. I have my messages. I have Audible, listening to books. I have my Bible. Again, like I said, that's part of my daily routine. Pick yours, whatever it may be. If it is Kindle, if it is something else, fine. I have the 5-minute journal, which I haven't been good about doing. I listen to music because I work out. Unfold, because that's where I take some of my notes to share with people. My workout app. That's what I have open. So before the hour of 7 or after 9 o'clock, those are the only apps that I can access. Now, you can trick yourself out. You can say ignore, but when you click ignore, it makes it hard. So my suggestion for you guys is maybe go in and choose to lock down some of your time. Protect your time. And, help to streamline what you guys have, how you go. How you direct your day, how you proceed forward. Here's another thing that I did, and you can lock down limits for different apps. And one of the things that I did is I locked down an app. I locked down Facebook and Instagram. I said I get 45 minutes a day for those. That's it. And maybe I need to see what I can do to get to 30 minutes. Now, the interesting thing is I know it's a good day when my 45 minutes comes, after 5 o'clock at night. I know it's a bad day when it's 45 minutes at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, I got to stop and think, what am I doing? How is this helping me? So let me jump into the next topic that I have for today, the grief cycle. So I'm going to share this image in here. I pulled it up this morning because I needed to kind of clarify it myself. maybe I didn't take an image of it because my phone was locked down, but I wanted to. It's the grief cycle. I'm going to share it with you guys right there. That's the grief cycle, the Kubler-Ross grief cycle. And one of the things we were talking about, Kelly and I, last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, as we were processing all this, we were going through everything, and we said, well, let's just be honest. Our world hasn't changed much. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful for that because as much as my world's changed, our kids being at home and doing that as parents, as much as Kelly and I have had moments where we just literally, it looked like the 4th of July. Fireworks, that is. And I'm still grateful that, we have this income stream. We have the ability to, share our heart. We have the ability to help people. And my hope is helping people here. And we understood that, it's really, there's a lot of people that are going through the grief cycle. In the grief style, the first one is denial. You avoid, confusion, shock, fear. How many people felt that with the coronavirus quarantine? How many of you have felt denial? Oh, this isn't right. I'm going to go out. I'm still going to go to the beach. I'm going to, drive around. Hey, for the first week, I was at a grocery store every single day of the week. Dead serious. It would just happen to be, it wasn't that big a deal. It's like, we weren't on full lockdowns, just stay home. And, last week, the only time I left our house was on Friday when I went to get groceries. Now, the funny thing is, yesterday we were like, man, we have no food in our house. We're going to have to go again. I didn't plan too well. And a lot of that was denial. Then we move into the anger. I'm frustrated. I want to go out. They can't tell me no. This is a hoax. It's not real. It's just anger. It's the grief cycle. And then we get into bargaining. And where it's like, well, why, what does this mean? How does this mean? You start reaching out to others, you start connecting with people like, how are you doing? What are you going through? And I think that was one of the first places that I jumped to. It's like, how do I go out and connect with people? How do I check on them? We've talked about this. Zach Slobin, I shared it with him. Absolutely phenomenal. Connect with people. And guess what? There's still a lot of people right now, depending on where their state is, that are just going through that bargaining. Maybe for the first time their state just hit lockdown. I think the last I knew there was 8 states that didn't have a stay at home. Or maybe like in our state last week where they announced that we have another 30 days. And now all of a sudden people are like, oh, I thought this was going to be over. I thought I was going to get back to work. I do hair and I'm going to go back to a salon. Ooh, I'm a massage therapist and I can get back to work. Oh, I'm a trainer. I can, all right, couple weeks, keep people going. Then I'll get back into training. I really hate working at home, but a couple weeks of this and we back at work. And maybe if your state, hey, that's the case, but the reality is that's probably not. And then you get into depression. The fourth part of the grief cycle is depression. And you're overwhelmed. You're like, screw this. I'm done. Have you ever heard that? You ever said that? I'm done. Well, that's just you checking out, not accepting it. It's depression. It's hostility. It's fighting. And I think we hit that before we hit, definitely hit that stuff. And then there's acceptance. Okay, where are we at? Let's accept where we're at. Let's move forward. New plan in place. Move on. This is our new reality. I maybe shared with you guys. If I didn't share with you guys, there was an article and it was like, are we in a blizzard? Are we in a winter? Are we in an ice age? And I think the reality is we're in all three. There's some parts of our lives, a little blizzard. It's a little uncomfortable. We'll get through it. I got a 4-wheel drive. I can deal with it. It's winter. Oh, we got more of this stuff, but that's all right. I got the right vehicle. I can get through this. And then there is the ice age. Like, life will never go back. Now, here's the challenge, is the thinking that everything's an ice age as opposed to it's only a winter. We will go back into social settings. If 1918 proved anything, is we will go back into social settings, but it's going to look different. Maybe it's going to look different for a little while. Maybe we all need to wear masks. Did you know in 1918 it was illegal? You'd get cited, arrested, misdemeanor, whatever, if you didn't wear a mask in public. And now everyone's freaking out. It's like we did this before. Like, it's okay. Our liberties didn't go out the window. It was just a short-term inconvenience for a long-term better. Now, you can take coronavirus one way or the other. It's just like, Really? Is it that hard? Is it that difficult? Are your liberties being taken away that much? Now, I won't get into that whole argument. That gets real political. I'm not going to go there. I'm talking about the grief cycle, and then I'm talking about the acceptance of moving on. And, to tie this in with if it's too easy, you're likely walking into a trap. If it's been too easy, then the trap's on you, not, trap's always set, but you're the one that chooses to walk into it. If you're setting trap for like an animal, a live trapper, I don't know if you guys ever had, or say you're in a wilderness, you're on a hunting and you need to get food. Do you put your trap where it's off the beaten path, or do you put your trap along where animals normally go, where it's the easy path? You put your trap where they normally go, where it's the easy path. You don't put your trap off on this weird, side place. You put it where it's easy, because that's where you're most likely to trap something. And so, again, if you're advancing without resistance, you're likely walking into a trap. If it's too easy, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's a trap. So what do we do? Ready? Here's what we do. Is we simplify. I told you, how did I reduce? I didn't even know that. That was kind of cool. I did one thing last week. I changed my screen time allotment, and my screen time was down 40% in 1 week. I changed my screen time, what I allowed, and I was down 40%. Wow. I didn't even realize that. I didn't intentionally do it. Maybe that's a suggestion. Number 2, condense down what you're bringing into your mind. I know people that, every single CDC, every single CNN, every New York Times, every Washington Post, I've been there. I mean, you go through the COVID-19. All right, where's the latest? Where's the latest tally? I understand keeping informed, aware, but is that changing how you're helping people? Nah. Limit what you're bringing into your brain. Limit what you're exposing yourself to. What is going to help you move forward? Make sure you're staying out of that trap. Make it, this was one of my suggestions. I think it's interesting. I've read, it'd be interesting if I looked at my, my daily use of my phone over the last week. I'm guessing I've spent a lot more time listening on Audible, a couple podcasts, but mostly Audible. And I've gone through a couple great books. And because I'm how can I pour into myself and learn? How can I, take and devote time to it? And here's one of the things that, again, I watched Darren Hardy. That's where he talked about the grief cycle. I'm like, I should probably bring that up. And what he discussed is go invest. Wait a second. There's so much free content out there. It is an absolute bloody red ocean of everyone trying to get in your face. But here's what I want you to do. I suggest you kind of, where are you at? Where is the resistant road forward? Is it the productivity? Is it the knowledge? Is it whatever you can see? And if you want to help with that, maybe I'll do, my friend Zach is doing daily coaching sessions. I know some people that watch this are on that. That's awesome. But maybe I should go through that. Here's where the potentials are in network marketing. Here's where potential barriers are. And here's maybe some outlets for you to learn that information. And this was a suggestion from Darren Hardy, and I think it's all right. I think it's pretty good. If you need to be framed in saying, hey, stay right here, put your blinders on, stay here, go buy something. I'm not telling you to be frivolous, but I'm also telling you invest, because when you invest, means you're going to utilize it. Here's an example of, here's Darren, he has all this information, and he's like, you know what? I needed to go spend money on a course so I could focus on it, because I started watching the first 5-6 minutes of it. And the reality is I probably would have checked out, but I spent money, so I stayed. And at minute 60 or 70, I got an idea. And here's what I caution you. Don't be a shotgun spender. Be a sniper. In other words, a shotgun spender says, oh, that popped up, let's spend that course. Oh, that popped up, let's go there. Oh, that popped up, let's go there. And I know tons of people that are offering courses left and right. But be a sniper, find an area. Is it productivity? Is it belief? Is it understanding yourself? Is it whatever it may be, and go there? But here's the other thing that we have to offer. because there's people outside of our world that maybe aren't getting this, is we have a lot of that to offer within network marketing. What we're offering here, actually people could put together as a course. Now, I'm saying you're getting this for free because you're a part of it and you're paying for it, but maybe it's next to take that next step. Doesn't mean don't take this stuff, but maybe it's take that next step. Where can I snipe? Where can I make sure that's what I need to do to get better? For me, where I've invested a lot of money, because this is an area where I know I want to and need to grow continually, and I've seen myself grow, is emotional intelligence. I was listening to a podcast with John Maxwell. He has 2 episodes about emotional intelligence. I went out and bought the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Started through that. It's a good book. Then I was listening to a podcast with Craig Rochelle. He interviewed John Townsend. John Townsend wrote the book Boundaries. He also wrote books with Henry Cloud. Great psychological people. John Townsend's recent book is called People Fuel. What does it talk about? It talks about people. It talks about how you present and how you project yourself. And I realized those are areas where I continually need to grow, because the number one component that I believe helps people develop leadership skills more and above anything else, absolutely, this is my belief, is empathy. If you are truly in a healthy, empathetic way, your ability to lead, impact, and be a good human is maximized. That is what I've realized. That's an area where I need to work on. And so I'm suggesting to you guys, what are areas that you need to focus? Just pick one and then move forward and understand there's going to be resistance there. And if there's resistance, that means you're on the right path. If it's too easy, if it's a roller coaster downhill, you're not picking the right one. So that's what I have for you guys. That was a long one today, 32 minutes. Started off on my wall. People are going to be like, I tuned into that and then he tuned off. What's going on? And maybe I should have just said all of this there. But you know what? That's one of those things that I need to work on and I need to focus on as well. Thinking that whatever I had to share here wouldn't be of value to people outside of this community. Maybe that's my trap. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys are doing well. I know here's the reality. Some of you are probably intimately dealing with coronavirus, whether it's sickness, whether it's death, whether it's challenges in your family. And I feel for you guys. And I want to be here as a light to help you guys continue to grow and continue to find a community that's going to pour into you and love you and say, how can I help? But I also know there's a lot of other people out there going through the grief process, and it's our opportunity to be their guide through that process and help them. And maybe they don't have a community like this. Maybe they don't have a community of, 20 or 30 other people watching and saying, hey, we can learn at this together. Because the reality is I don't have this stuff figured out. I'm just learning and I'm sharing what I'm learning. And you know what I've learned is if I share what I'm learning, other people can share what they've learned, and that helps me learn more. Am I an expert? No, I'm just sharing what I'm learning. And I know if I'm learning, I'm getting better. And I'm not choosing an easy path because I'm choosing to learn. And when you choose to learn, that gets you past a lot of the low points in the grief cycle. So have a great day. Thanks for joining in. If this was valuable, even if it's outside the script, forget about the spring catalog. If you want to share this with anyone, share it with someone. If you think it's going to help their day, share it with them. I'd much rather them get value out of this, help their day, than worry about what this or that I said about the product. So have a great day, guys, and I'll see you back tomorrow.